Alrighty, so it's time for another 6mm arc video. So I was able to find some of the 112 grain match burner from Barnes online, and so we're going to give that a test today. We're going to use Winchester No. 41 small rifle primers and PowerPro 2000 MR. So I chose this powder because I want to try to push these up in velocity, and PowerPro 2000 MR is one of the best velocity powders for 6 arc. Now, it got a little bit complicated because these hit the lands in my rifle at 2.354 inches. Now, all the low data is much shorter at 2.260, 2.245, all those numbers. So we ended up with a lot more case capacity than what I thought we were going to have. Now, looking at Hodgkin's website, they show data with some similar powders up to about 28 grains with the 110 AMAX, and Hornady has no data for the 110 AMAX, at least not that I could find, which we're not shooting the 110 AMAX anyway, we're shooting a 112 match burner, so we're kind of making up low data here. We're going to do 3-shot groups because of that, and we're going to load these at 2.335. So my magazines go out to about 2.4, so we're good on that. And I'm kind of thinking this is going to be a really good bullet because we can take advantage of some extra case capacity. Now this is going to end up being a 2-range trip video, basically because the charges we picked were dreadfully low. So you're going to see on the range from 27.0 grains all the way up to 29.9 grains, mostly in 3/10 increments. We did take a jump when we go to the second range trip, which you guys will see that. Again, all these are going to be 3-shot groups. These are the first time I've ever shot this bullet. So let's get out on the range and let's see what happens. Alrighty, we are out here on the range. The target is at 100 yards. It's a nice cool day to shoot. Shoot my Savage 110 Switchback 6mm arc with the 112 match burner. You'll see the other information about the gun on the screen. Now, I did clean the gun after I got back from that long range competition, and I've shot 2 shots through this a couple days ago. So the gun is cold, but it does have 2 shots through it, so it's not perfectly clean. But we'll kind of see here. The first load here should be pretty low velocity, so I'm not too concerned about accuracy or anything like that. So hopefully by the time we get 3 shots through it, we'll be kind of fouled up and warmed up as well. Getting velocity through our lab radar. I'm guessing this is going to be something like 2,500 feet per second, but we'll find out here. All right, so that one was 2413. Nice round primer. Again, pretty low velocity there, so. All right, they seem like they were trying to group. So that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and move on up. See if we can start pushing up to that velocity number. That one was 20. All right, not much of a bump there on our velocity. All right, so those 3 started to look like they were going to try to group. So maybe as we pick up velocity here, they're going to start to try to stack them in there. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was kind of planning on picking the best one of these groups and loading up 5. But I think we're way too low on our velocity. Our primers are perfectly round. Still at 2450 for velocity. I think with the overall length pushed out so much, it's kind of skewed some of the load data that we've used, because most of the load data doesn't show any overall length this long. Alrighty, so we're shooting some of the higher charges now. It is the next day, and it is a bit windy and a little bit warmer. It's probably like 80 degrees, and the wind is blowing probably about 10 mile an hour off the left. Now it is pretty constant, so I don't think it's going to impact our group size too much. And we are jumping up to 28 grain, so we did a 0.8 grain jump because those last loads were so low. So hopefully we'll get somewhere where we need to be here with our charge weights. Alright, so the gun is cold. Alright, so that was 2560. So now we're a little closer to where we want to be. So that's a pretty good looking group. We're still a little slow, 2600 feet per second. So those three average 2645 feet per second with an 8.3 SD. So let's get over there and let's take a closer look at the target. Alrighty, so what you're looking at here is the target from both range trips today. The bottom row there, all of our velocities are extremely slow. I mean, only got up to 2458, so most of those loads are pretty much worthless. The last group did show some promising accuracy at 0.45 inches. Then moving up, we did jump up to that 29 grain to start because I figured we were so low we could jump that much. Probably should have jumped more. And we showed some promising accuracy there in the middle at that 29.3 to even that 29.6 grain load. But still, velocity is very low. I mean, we only reached 2645, and with this powder, I'm expecting that we could probably push this something like 2750. We just didn't have high enough charges. And I don't know that I'm gonna waste any more of these bullets with 2000 MAR because I'm not a big fan of the temp sensitive powders. So what I'm thinking, with all this extra case capacity we have, because we've extended the overall length, maybe I'll try one of my bulky extruded powders. Because even at 29.9 grains, this load was not compressed. You could still hear some powder shaking around. Now, my Gordon's reloading tool has pretty much botched this one. I'll throw up the data, but it says that all of these are going to be compressed, and I can't figure out why. The only thing I can figure out is that the density of 2000 MR that I have is different than what they're loading online. So, very confused with what happened here. Pretty disappointed that I wasted all these bullets at these low charge weights. Because again, I think I could take some of my more bulky extruded powders and get these velocities. The whole point of doing 2000 MR was to get some high velocities. The brass looks fine. There's no cratering. Really, the brass looks fine because these are not over pressure at all. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next time we can get a little bit better velocity numbers because this bullet's going to fly really well. Even at these velocities, it beats my load with the 108 ELD and Varget as far as drop goes at 1,000 yards. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.